Example 1, we're on page 51 of your notes, okay? It says, use radical notation to write the expression, simplify if possible. Okay? So we're going to write it. It says, use radical notation. So you're going to have a rational exponent that we want to write as a radical. So here we go. We have here 25 to the 1/2 power. How we write that out as a radical?
Q being the index?
2 being the index. So we're saying, are we saying the square root of 25?
No, 5.
No, wait, first of all, let's write it as a radical. Are we saying the square root of 25? Is that how we're saying it?
Yeah.
Even though 2 is, we didn't write 2 as the index. Remember, when the number is not there, it's an understood 2. Okay?
So you don't have to write it.
You don't have to write it. Actually, don't write it. Okay? So, what is the square root of 25? 5. Here we go. 27 to the 1/3. I'm going to give you another one. Negative 25 to the 1/2. 27 to the 1/3 power can be converted to what? How would you write it as a radical? Okay. Cube root. Okay, that's how we would say it. The cube root of 27, which is 3.
So why would you write the 3 when you don't write it?
It's just the rule says when it's 2, there's no need to write it because it's understood 2. Anything greater than 2, you have to write. Okay? The index. From your fraction, that number that's in the denominator is going to be the index. When you're asked to convert a rational expression, let me explain, that number that's in the denominator, when you write it as a radical, becomes your index. Okay? We'll talk about the numerator, okay, when it's greater than 1, what we must do. Okay? Well, letter C.
Not a real number.
Why?
Because you can't get a negative.
Right, we can't take the square root of a negative radicand. Our negative radicand, this is how we would write it, just saying the square root of negative 25. Well, remember, you have an even index, you have a negative radicand. You can't find a solution. You can't find 2 identical factors that would give you negative 25. And I'm pretty sure it says something like that in your calculator.
Domain error.
Huh? Domain error, yes. We'll talk about later on complex numbers and what that entails, which it says you can find the square root of a negative number. Okay, so
what if the exponent's negative?
then how do you make it positive?
All right. Yeah. So
Because see,
if the exponent's negative, you wouldn't do like the negative radical power.
no, you have to take the reciprocal first.
All right.
Okay? We're still going back. We're still going to be using our exponents 101. If it's negative, you have to take the reciprocal of the whole thing. Okay? All right. We have here x to the 1/5 power. And it did say simplify if possible. So first of all, we're going to write this x to the 1/5 as a radical. And that becomes what? The fifth what? Fifth root. This is how you read it. The 5th root of, and there's nothing that we can do.
That's because it's just a variable.
Because it's just a variable. Now if it's, well, I was going to say if it was said the 5th root of x to the 5th, then there was something we can do, but there's nothing that we can do. Here.
That's just That's how you write it?
And that's just how you write it, yes. The quantity of negative 27 y to the 6th all to the 1/3 power. How would you write now? Because parentheses around that negative 27 y to the 6th, that means all of that that's in the parentheses goes under the radical sign. What is the index here?
3.
So you're saying the cube root of negative 27 y to the 6th. Take the cube root of negative 27. Negative 3. Take the cube root of y to the 6th. Y what?
Don't look like that, you scamming, don't look like that.
Okay. Now, this is a good one, letter F. And this will be our last example for the day. 7x to the 1/5 power. So my question to you is, what is being raised to the 1/5 power? The 7, the x, or both 7 and x?
The X.
Just the x. You're saying 7 times x to the 1/5 power. So we're only applying the 1/5 to the x. That's what we're going to convert that to a radical. The 7 is just on the outside. We're multiplying it to it. So we're saying here 7 times the 5th root of x. And there we go.